in the Kilted Kangaroo, which is pretty interesting. I'm Scotland. This is Bavid Dowie on the telegrams.
Hello.
Yeah, and as you can see from the thumbnail, he is the banker. A little bit of a disclosure. He's a payment specialist. I'm sort of going to introduce himself in a bit.
Yes.
So it's a little bit clickbaity. So if you came here for a banker, you can leave right now, which is fine.
Yeah.
This is vacation programming. So we're going to have a wee little pint. We just had a little bit of dinner here. We also have a really interesting story because of the first day here. I went and got some groceries and I went 2 corners. And there was this guy in a white car, and he was like looking at me while he was like intending to cross an intersection. I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So I crossed this car, looked in, like, don't know what that is. I heard Jarno. What? Jarno. So I walked up to the car, and opens the window. It's like, hey, aren't you Jarno for the Quamfy show? So this man. Cheers, everybody. The white man.
Cheers.
Also a Scotsman, obviously, in Dundee, recognized me apparently. I was like, hey man, how you doing? Where you going? You need a ride. And well, it was fucking amazing. Unfortunately, he cannot listen in because we only have like 2 earbuds and we're attempting shit with the mic. So if you hear background noises, we're in the fucking pub. And yeah, man, we'll just make do whatever it is. So we've been doing great. Been drinking a lot, been eating a lot, went fishing yesterday, and we're going to be on a dinner tonight again, and then tomorrow, and probably went into Saturday. So that's why we look a little bit tired.
Yeah.
And you climbed the hill. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You climbed this hill, right?
Yeah.
We went up to Loch Brande.
I was breathing out my arse. I was very tired, and you've just got Jarno sprinting up this hill. Dude, calm down a bit. But we got there. We did a bit of fishing on the on Loch Brandy. That was a lovely spot, and we didn't catch any. Well, we caught a pike, but the pike kind of jumped off the hook. That was our closest.
Yeah, so we lost the pike.
Yeah.
But we got an 8 for effort. We actually confirmed that we haven't been fishing there 3 hours for fuck all. There was actually fish.
Yeah,
didn't look like it, but there were. So yeah, this was our introduction. How are things on your end, Tim?
It's a bit more boring on this side. It's just been a week. Last week when you heard me the last time in English.
Good job on the Dutch episode, by the way, dude. You nailed that with Nils. It's really good.
Yeah, exactly. So like the last time you heard me in a Dutch English episode, I was tired. Just came back from holidays. Now I'm back for a week already. Then last Tuesday, Jarno was in Scotland, so I had to do the Dutch episode on my own, and I was scrambling for guests. At the end of the day, Niels came there to save me, and we recorded a 2-hour episode, and I think not having Jarno as my co-host, works pretty good. Niels was a really lovely guest. We talked for 2 hours, and I think it was still very interesting stuff that we produced. So. That was great, and in general, just a week has passed. Nothing interesting happened really here.
Cool, man.
So
we're gonna do that a little bit more often because we're gonna have another guest in next week, and Tim probably won't be on the show either. We're gonna keep a little bit on the wraps who the next guest is, but it's a much requested one, and if everything goes well, he'll be here, and you'll see it when it happens.
It's not Gilbert, is it?
It's
not Gilbert. No.
Not yet. So what are we going to do today? So we're going to have obviously a little chat. We're going to look at price maybe a bit. Tim will do all the screen sharing stuff, and obviously we've got the payment specialist here. So we're going to have a stab at how payments actually work at a bank and the MasterCard stuff behind it, etc.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell something about yourself, man?
So. Yeah, the clickbait title. I'm not a banker. When you say banker, it makes you think of some sort of investment specialist. That's not me. I fix MasterCard problems. For a merchant bank, or so point of sale, where the money goes from the terminal into your bank account. That's what I'm a specialist in. And so what I'm going to discuss is actually the steps for how settlement happens. The different stages of a card payment and just how old and antiquated it is. I don't think anyone really realizes just how slow the process is to fully settle a transaction over MasterCard. And it just doesn't make any sense. It's 2022 and we're using outdated technology from the 90s. Yeah, we'll go through the slides. That'll help me kind of structure how to.
This is going to be one of the most chaotic episodes, but it's also one of the best prepared because he actually made a PowerPoint.
No,
He acquired a PowerPoint. And
full disclosure, I didn't make this PowerPoint. I stole it from a colleague. So if they at any point see this, that they won't, they're not into Quant. But if at any point they do see this, yeah, sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, we'll go through the slides at some point, and actually, it will be a great showcase nonetheless because Jarno and I are talking a lot about legacy systems and how poorly designed they are for the year we are in currently, and that will be a great showcase to literally show people how it works in the current design and what all needs to be improved. But also, we cannot change easily because for some reason we are still using that technology. Although more than 30-40 years have passed. So apparently there's a need for this technology still. And that is where Overledger comes in, because we can connect those legacy systems back into more modern systems like DLT or whatever you use.
Yes.
So yeah.
So another thing that I should say is outside of the MasterCard payment system, I wanted to discuss what a retail bank does in terms of disputes resolutions and stuff like MasterCard chargebacks and kind of the practicalities that will need to come with blockchain as well. So a lot of people think with blockchain technology, we can actually remove retail banks, but I don't think that's going to happen. You know. Oh dear. Yeah, what's not fine?
sorry.
What is
Like
happening
music.
in the background? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of music here.
Yeah, it's music in the other room. Yeah. So,
In the other room. Yeah.
This is going to be the trashiest episode we've recorded so far.
Yeah.
I think.
And the most ill-advised as well. Fucking
well, cheers.
drinking.
Cheers to that. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good
So-
thing you can smoke inside. I'll be fucking vaping this entire place.
Yeah. We won't be able to see you. Okay. So as you can see, it's a good time over there in Dundee. I'm just here sitting at home. Although I do have little snacks with me.
What is cool is we can actually see the Quamfy, and here you can see the Kilted Kangaroo. So it's the Quamfy Kilted Kangaroo.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, the Quamfy Kilted Kangaroo. Yeah, we should.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
Hey, bring up a price chart if you will.
Yeah, well, I think I was about to go there. We've passed the 8-minute mark. Time for price update. Let me get this. Usually Jarno does this, but now it's my turn. So just let me gather this.
I'm a lazy cunt today.
Yeah, well, rightly so. Let's go to CoinGecko. One
And
second,
what's also
please.
fun is I'm wearing obviously now this is some merch that we are experimenting with, which obviously reads Quamfy Forever.
Yes, I've got my own t-shirt I designed myself.
It says Quamfy on the back.
It's not.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, yeah. And it's got a little logo on the front with Illuminati.
Yeah.
Logo.
Okay,
In you
so
we trust.
so what we're seeing here are the prices on CoinGecko at the moment. Speaking, it's the 18th of August 2022. So Bitcoin is at $23,000. Ethereum is 1,874,
Can we see
so
that
almost
the price
1,900.
pounds since we're in the fucking couple
Oh, we can.
Okay.
to confuse everybody thoroughly.
To be fair,
We're moving from burger tokens to Guinness tokens.
I always use dollars, so
There we
Okay,
go.
well,
Hey, Bitcoin is under 20. Fuck you guys.
yeah, that means
Yeah.
nothing to me. I always do in dollars.
So yeah, well, this is a current market situation. As you can see, we've been trending downwards the last 7 days.
Yeah, man.
It's been the macro trend. And then we move down, and at place 44, we see ourselves being 94 pounds. Trending
We're
downwards
under
this week.
100 again. Oh no.
Yeah, the
Good
total
job.
market cap is 1. 3 billion. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of loud music on the background. There,
He's hearing the music.
Yeah, man.
I can hear the music. Well,
Yeah,
I can.
nothing to get out. Is it better here?
No,
We could
it's.
move.
I hear very loud music.
Very loud
We
music
can
even.
move to the.
No,
let's-
I pretty. Yeah, your noise canceling just filled, and now I hear very loud background noise.
Interesting.
fantastic.
Let's
That's-
have a look at that. We'll do
Yeah.
that on the spot.
Okay, no, it's gone. It's gone now.
Good man. There we are again.
Whoa, it's so loud.
Quamfy shit.
It is so loud compared to this is just silent, and when it switches off, you're just like in a crowded pub.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
insane. Oh wow. Okay, rip headphone users.
A glitch in the matrix, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Welcome to
yeah,
the
okay.
Quamfy show. The
Yeah,
most ill-advised,
okay.
trashiest, and unprepared
Yeah.
shit show on the fucking planet.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a market cap of around 1.3 billion pounds. When we go to the 7-day,
Yeah, can I request that we go back to dollars because this is meaning nothing in my head.
yeah, sure. Let me get back to dollars. So we're at
The kangaroo's
$112.
Australian. Let's go to Australian. That's bullish. That will be 150 at least.
Oh yeah, sure.
No.
No,
Just
okay.
go to Burger King.
Yeah, okay. So when we look at the price of the last 7 days, we're trending a bit down. There comes the background noise again.
Yeah, well, it will go away.
Yeah. Okay. And well, it's so loud.
How's
dear.
How's it even possible? There was nothing going
Just
on.
go outside, man. Like you can edit this, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear.
I would say pause the recording and we'll get ourselves out into the terrace.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do that. Oh, stop share.
Three.
I think it was
Let it go.
10.5 in
My
Britain.
recording didn't start. My recording started just now.
Oh, fair.
So it's a good thing we're recording on both ends.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But yeah, I think I saw a figure 10.5% inflation in the UK. Is what's expected. So nasty.
Yeah. It is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, we'll see where that goes. Hey,
Yeah, man.
huh?
Go. No,
No,
lead,
I mean,
lead.
While you guys were hiking a mountain and getting wasted, getting slammed last night. The people in back south in London, they actually worked on a new update, and they released 2.13.
2.13. Yeah.
Yeah,
I noticed, and it was just a maintenance update, wasn't it?
It was kind of a nothing burger, but I still want to address it.
Yeah, go. Bring it
yeah,
up, man.
sure.
Bring it up.
Okay.
While
Just
we're
making
here.
notes. Yeah, sure. How's the Guinness? Is it good?
I love it, man. Yeah. It's one of my favorite beers here. It is.
Although it is
Yeah,
Irish.
I'm obviously not that much on the keto. Because being on keto in Scotland is fucking
Impossible.
almost not done. Yeah, well, I need the bread on a hamburger still, whatever possible. I don't stock up on French fries. But besides that, man, yeah, just having beers and drinks and shit.
Like me being a vegetarian in Spain, that's also impossible. You cannot do that in Spain. It's
You
not gonna
could
work.
eat vegetarians. That's the same thing.
Yeah, true. That would work. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So,
We're keeping
what
on
we're
building.
seeing here.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
seeing a tweet right now. I just brought up a tweet on the screen. It says we're keeping on building Overledger. 2.2.13 is a maintenance release that enhances security and scalability. And you see a guy working hard. And well, when I press the link to go to the page of Quant, it reads Overledger 2.2.13 is a maintenance release.
Maybe the Scotsman can read it.
Oh, sure.
I think that'll be fine.
Dude, go
Can
ahead.
you see it
Yeah,
from there?
go ahead.
Can see, yeah. So this release introduces technical changes to enhance security and scalability. This is an engineering release of Overledger that adds technical changes within the platform to enhance security and scalability. It supports improvements planned for future releases. There are no new APIs, features, or modifications to the user experience in this version. This release includes improvements to configuration, structural enhancements to internal databases to better categorize resources, updating and improving access to controls for the APIs. So I don't think that means a hell of a lot to anyone that isn't working with the technology.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's just a maintenance. Well, yeah, it's just a maintenance release, just another little update. And I think it's good.
Yeah.
They are really getting consistent with a 2-week release schedule. They promised this last year in the mid-year technology review update.
Clockwork, isn't it?
And they are now actually on. Well, we were kind of discussing back then whether it would really be like fortnightly, so every 2 weeks. And then in the beginning, they couldn't really match it, but they've now been on point. It's insane. You're just pushing every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I wonder if updates like that are actually benefiting things like LangChain and Oracle users. I wonder if there's actually a benefit to them.
The fucking Oracle news. Are we going to get to that as well? I posted that in our podcast thing.
Yeah.
I believe Oracle is actually making steps with the Redbull racing. And Gilbert is following like fucking every car company in the UK, which is mighty interesting because Gilbert has quite a track record for following like a bunch of seemingly random projects. And then, ta-da, a couple of months later, it appears that it was all connected anyway. Gilbert, the Easter Bunny. That could be a chart once again. It was a good episode with the Hungarian. Wonder when the Hungarian will be on the show again. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's
speaking of Easter eggs.
Yeah. Let's indeed go to Gilbert's. Well, let me share again. Here, and because that is indeed something we noticed. Let me do multiple things at the same time. Let me kind of go through Gilbert's Twitter.
Yeah, man.
And what indeed some people found is that he recently followed. Oh, he's following more than 5,000. Okay, this is going to be interesting.
I think I have
those screenshots.
Hold on. I got a screenshot and I'll forward that to you in Telegram.
Sure.
Because let's see, because Hungarian obviously made a list, and I'm not sure if I can forward it like that, but I'll send it to you in WhatsApp.
Sure.
And then you have to pick it up there.
This guy is actually. Oh yeah, I'll unbox myself for a bit. Go back. Oh, you
How
sent
many
it
people
on.
does Gilbert follow?
You send it on WhatsApp. Give me 1 second to.
Yeah, man.
In the meantime, how's it over there in Scotland?
Yeah, it's good, man. We have pretty decent weather given that we're in fucking Scotland, and the forecasts like last week were fucking dreadful. But yesterday, when we actually planned to go to Loch Brandy, we had pristine weather.
Lovely, yeah. It was good.
Yeah, and up there was a little bit chilly. It was quite of a hike, obviously. So the mountains, there's always a little bit more wind. And today was supposed to be shit. That's why we sassed yesterday and we're fucking destroyed all day. And only now it's started raining, which is quite annoying. No, man. So
that's what you expect when you go to Scotland, right? I mean,
yeah.
Well, you know what? Actually, last week the weather was fantastic. It was like 25 degrees, probably some of the hottest weather in Scotland I've experienced. And then, of course, the week Jarno comes, it's just awful weather. So sod's law, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it is what it is, man.
That's what you get when you go to Scotland, I think. Okay, so I just got the message. Unfortunately, Jarno sent it through WhatsApp, so I'm not gonna dox my WhatsApp if you guys are fine with that.
I have it in front of a screen as well. So the following of Gilbert, if I may hog your item for a bit. So you're looking at Aston Martin Works, Aston Martin Heritage Trust, Aston Martin PR, Aston Martin Racing, Oracle Redbull Racing, McLaren Automotive, Aston Martin again, and then another Aston Martin, a Remco Cognizant F1 team. I wonder why. And Tim also has an article right there from Oracle, if I'm not mistaken.
I do. Yeah.
And Hungarian has written a message with that, and it reads, Gilbert just mass followed the Oracle, Redbull, Aston Martin Racing PR channels. This partnership leverages OCI for a variety of application, plus crowd twists for customer rewards. The speculation is that, aligned with other FA and Gilbert's previous comments, Overledger is integrated into more than just OBP. Team expands use of Oracle Cloud infrastructure to further improve race strategy, engine development, and projects with Redbull advanced technologies. Redbull Racing Paddock will gain new features to boost excitement and create stronger connections with fans. Announcing new gaming partnerships, Oracle Redbull Racing Esports, which is, to me, this was just fabulous. And I had this in WhatsApp because my sister and her partner are like really into Formula One. They love Max Verstappen, which is obviously driving for Red Bull. And yeah, man, the thing you got on the screen right now, if you can take us through it a little bit, that'd be great.
Yeah, of course. So basically, this is not something new, this article, obviously, because the F1 season started back in March this year. So I think March, February, that's when F1 starts again.
Yes, sir.
And what we are looking right now on the screen for the people listening is a press release from Oracle. And it is about Oracle and Red Bull, Red Bull Racing launching a new chapter of innovation in Formula One. So since this season, Oracle actually became one of the main sponsors of Red Bull Racing. And this article just goes in on it. When you follow F1, you will know that when you look at Max's car and his co-driver, I think it's Chico Perez, you will see Oracle being very prominently on their car. And basically what happens is that, we always knew that once in Oracle, I can hear a lot of background noise, so I apologize to the listeners. I'm just going to be louder. Our partners. And there was also, hey, it's gone. There was also some speculation about, Red Bull Racing utilizing Overledger for their operations, because, they're still using Oracle Clouds. Just like we see Oracle Cloud being used in multiple sport competition. I think when you watch it's either the Premier League, I think it's the Premier League. When you watch Premier League games in England, you will see that Oracle Cloud actually does the analytics for all games. And when you watch the Bundesliga in Germany, you will see that Amazon Web Services and their cloud infrastructure actually do the analytics. So we already see sports and these cloud infrastructures by these big software companies actually being integrated. And I think there was some kind of leads. I think it was Hungarian somewhere on Telegram that he said that someone from the Red Bull Racing team said that by using Oracle Cloud, they can, and maybe in this article even, I don't know, I haven't read it. And it's kind of the idea that they can use whatever kind of technology they need. And that points at Overledger. I'm not sure, is it in this article, Jarno? I don't know. You have a clue?
I'm not sure, but what is really interesting to me about this is if you consider the sheer fucking amount of data that is being created just by a single racing car, and what goes on behind the scenes, and everything they measure and everything that's being uploaded and that's being manipulated and cross-checked and stuff, that is so much going on. I mean, even the weather and shit is obviously included. And if you look at Gilbert following also the Aston Martin and all those types of things, can you imagine the sheer amount of data that's just being processed by that? And if you extrapolate that even further, looking at Moby, then you can actually take this Formula One ship and multiply that by a couple of million conservatively for the sheer amount of data that's going to run through all those DLTs. And as you guys know, as we said 10,000 times, money is just fucking money. It's just to pay for things, but the data and every single transaction that's going to be happening on Overledger will need QT. and it will need bandwidth, and it will need interoperability. And obviously not for everything, but for most things, it definitely will. Because not everybody's going to be using the same analytics shit. And with the Oracle certification and everything that's going on, it's extremely bullish for me, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the magnitude of fucking Formula One and the amount of money that goes on in there. And also, that's just the racing bit. So also for the merch and all those other things, those guys need to perform. So they will analyze whatever they can fucking analyze.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a really interesting.
I wonder if logistics comes into it as well. I watched a documentary talking about how they get the car components together.
Yeah.
Very, very in-depth process. I wonder if logistics might factor into that as well.
Yeah, so that's supply chain, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's also data, and that's so beautiful. Because you won't be batching that. That needs to be streamed. All that data needs to be real time. So like, for instance, payments, it could be all the money. You can just batch that shit, flip it, and then have it done. It will not be a continuous trickle or a stream. But for this, they need it now. And it makes it super, super interesting for the tokenomics and just the sheer amount of volume of data that's going to be transferred through that cloud.
For a long time, I've been just waiting for CBDCs, but then, you've got other use cases which we're seeing. Fantastic.
Yeah, man. Sure. Do you have anything else lined up, Tim? Or do you want to go on this a bit?
Well, I don't really, as you know me, I didn't have any time to kind of prepare stuff. But did talk. I did talk with Niels, obviously, also through the week. And what happened? I think there were some things in the Dutch episode we might actually also discuss here.
Just throw it up for me, man.
I think one of the things that Niels and I talked about for quite a bit in the Dutch episode was this article that was being uploaded to Seeking Alpha. And, and well,
I actually
we discussed.
commented on that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was really kind to him. I only pointed out the tokenomic flaws.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not a very good article, but I wanted to not fucking bury him with this is fucking shit, blah, blah, because Seeking Alpha, if I may hijack for a bit again, Seeking Alpha is like really big. When I started investing, all the TradFi markets are on there, so you can see what's going on the S&P, on the NASDAQ, on the Nikkei, whatever the fuck you want. And you can also see all the history, and you can find all the reports, the annual reports, the earnings, and all those types of things. So for TradFi, it's really important, it's really big. And I asked SEQ, SEC, actually, and both Ghost in the past, if they would consider making a Seeking Alpha account to give Quant some exposure there, because it's simply not getting, it wasn't getting there. So the fact that somebody created an article, I understand it wasn't all, it was even a little bit condescending from time to time, but he made an effort and he tried to condense what was going on. And obviously it wasn't all correct. And I'm really curious on your take on that. But the most important thing for me was that they kind of fucked up with the way that businesses pay for services and what the revenue streams actually are, because Gilbert obviously also stated in Telegram multiple times that they also have consulting gigs, which are just paying them in fiat, and which are obviously not token related, but they are revenue for the company. So I focused on that bit, but I'm curious because you heard you and Niels talk about it. Niels was a lot more eloquent. He had like 5 or 6 different points that they actually screwed up on in that article. But yeah, man, bring it up. Let's have a go.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna
Another
look for
one.
it.
I've been talking for 2 minutes here.
Yeah. I need to bring stuff up. I haven't lined it up yet.
I know. It's okay.
I didn't actually read this article, so this is news to me. But yeah, good to hear that it's on Seeking Alpha.
Yeah, man.
Okay, let me get this.
So for the crypto news, what Tim is searching, Seeking Alpha, you can actually use if you want to analyze like any stock. You can see dividend payments. You can see all the history 3 year, 5 year, 10 years ago. There's actually people writing some really high quality stuff and reviews on there. Most of those things are behind paywalls, But you can just have a free account, just log in with your Google Docs or your shit again, accept all the cookies, give them everything, you know?
A couple of years ago, I made a web crawling kind of thing where I was like parsing financial text, and yeah, seeking help was part of that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so we are looking at the article here. It's on Seeking Alpha, and it reads, does blockchain need an operating system? Quant Network believes so. And then there's a summary, and I'm going to invite you guys to go through it point by point. I can take the first point, though. And that's all.
Go.
Okay, so blockchain interoperability is an essential investment theme to build during the crypto bear market. Quant Network believes it has the solution. Quant Network has built its Hyperledger operating system to connect all blockchain platforms with a simple one-stop shop interface. Quant Network is targeting enterprise clients over retail with the help of Oracle. Are the red flags in Quant Network's past too much to overcome, adding to our crypto model portfolio? Read our analysis below to find out. Looking for a portfolio of ideas like this one? Oh, yeah, no, that's
Members of the Coin Agora
yeah,
got exclusive access to our model portfolio.
No, I want to address what does he mean by red flags in Quant Network's past?
Yeah, exactly. That's where we will be heading when we go through the article. But indeed, these are like the main points. And I mean, the thing I told Niels, so the guest on the Dutch, actually my co-host the last episode, like Miko was in the one before. One of the first things that stood out to me is that it says, well, Quant Network has built its Hyperledger operating system. That should be Overledger, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that was already interesting. And well, yeah, okay, so these points are kind of fair. But then when you go through the article, there are things that really stand out. Do
you know the author? Who authored it?
Yeah, it's the author is the Coin Agora. That is the author. We can look at them for a bit.
Okay.
The Fredonia Cooperative Coin Agora. Agora is Greek for meeting place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how I know that.
Yeah. So thanks for checking out Coin Agora. My name is Eric, and I manage a team of crypto enthusiasts. We believe in the promise of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. We've been investing in crypto since 2014, when one Bitcoin traded for $500. If you do the quick math,
it was so early.
it's been a 100x since. Nice. Since then, we've tracked the rise and fall of the market, finding ways to maintain gains and find the projects that can win. Now, that is just them shilling themselves.
Yes.
Flexing, bro.
Anyway.
Okay, so the main thing is we've not seen them in Telegram. You know, it's not a...
No. This is just a guy. Probably. It's a bit like the price predictions. If you go to Google, you go to the price predictions for Quant, people fucking call it numbers for 2030, like being 3K and shit like that.
And
makes me heave, man.
Oh, my lighting just turned off. This is a smart home. It happened again.
It has a smart home, and the light is so smart that it turns off after an hour.
Oh,
yeah,
dear.
it's programmed. Yeah,
it's programmed just like 100K QNT.
Yeah, maybe at
Exactly.
the end of September.
At the end of September.
yeah.
That is not going to happen, probably.
It is not financial advice. Okay, but when we look at this, when we look at the article,
advice from guys in the pub drinking beers.
Yeah. So,
Ill advised.
so
Trashy.
So,
Wife beater.
can I talk? Yeah. Okay. So when we look at the article, then the first part, so the introduction is pretty fair. He just sums up what's going on. So it's the entire story about interoperability, about how the markets function, etc. How Overledger function. That's fair. I'm not going to comment on that. But then there are some things that stand out. Well, first it's about the price section. Okay, that's fair. And then it goes on to, well, the target customers, what it's doing, who is running the company, the use cases, its industry ties, and its economics. And there is where it gets pretty interesting to me, because there are some things here in this article that are being mentioned, but I think are not fair. So first, the part about customers, I think that's pretty right. So he is addressing the fact that there is more than just retail in crypto, and it's not all community side. No, there are actual
And it is
companies.
an OS, which is also good.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not a bad thing. Then it's about what Quant does. And then, well, it reads according to Quant Network, the objective is to connect all the world's distributed ledgers for faster, more efficient growth. It goes into Overledger. Yeah, well, that's fair. I think there are some things, but it's okay. And it gets interesting at the points where they start pointing at Gilbert. And this might be a point that you can read out loud. If one of you guys can...
Okay, so Gilbert Verdian is the founder and CEO of Quant. Gilbert has an impressive background when looking at his titles and organizations who've employed him, which include PwC, BP, Bank of England, US Federal Reserve. Now, I don't believe he was an employee of the US Federal Reserve, was he? He's just on a committee there.
I'm not sure. I think he did. He was in a committee there indeed, but I think he worked for them in that.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure.
I've looked at his CV an awful lot, and I've seen him on the committee, but not.
Okay, then he's been in the committee. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a minor issue there. Anyway, right.
No.
However, he never stays long anywhere, with the longest lasting position being at HM Treasury for 27 months. Now, I think it was in the Ministry of Justice was what I thought he was in rather than...
Yeah.
But anyway, right. A track record of quick stints at various companies could mean he's extremely efficient, but it also has the potential to be a red flag with his personality or work style.
Yeah.
It's something to note at the very least. Now, yeah, that's a fair observation. Yeah.
The way I look at these types of articles is that people, if you write an article that you want to be believable, you need to have some points of criticism. You need to have some things that you can actually shoot at. Otherwise, everybody would just read it as if it's a fucking XRP article, all the money and blah, blah, blah. So there are reservations and there are things that could be like, I mean, to be honest, if somebody reads this for the first time and they are not as read up as we are, people will most definitely look at this and find it bullish and start doing their research.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I was so positive also about the fact that he wrote that, because he went ways and he tried to condense it, because he could have simply fucking copied his entire CV and shit, but people will not read it. And if it's all about the moon, people won't believe it either. So I think for balance, he actually did an adequate job.
Yeah, and it's a concern that I've had myself. I've also similarly thought, like, these are high profile gigs that he's had.
Yeah.
But he's not been in them for like any extended period of time.
Yeah.
But he's moved on to another fabulous job. So I mean,
yeah, if for a short time, it will be fucking bullish, because if you're there because there are fucking problems, there's shit in the fan, and you can just unfuck that in a year and a half and then move on.
Yeah,
I think that's actually pretty damn good.
So is that the only red flags that he brought up, or is it?
No, he brought up some other red flags, but just to get back to this point, I mean, I've heard this FUD, let's call it FUD before. I think it was by some people from the community itself, like people telling, hey, isn't it kind of suspicious that this guy has just been at places for like 2 years and then moves on? On the other hand, when I also look at my colleagues, some people in very high level positions, that's exactly what they do. They just go somewhere, solve stuff, and they move on, because they always have kind of a vision what needs to happen. And I think that is the case with Gilbert. He has been having this idea of developing Overledger, or at least this kind of technology, well, since the late 1990s, since 1998, I think. And then it just moved on, and at some point it was like, okay, fuck it, I'm going to establish my own company. And then actually Niels and I talked about that, and he introduced me to the RFC 1925. That's like the 12 rules of networking. And then one of them is that some ideas will always return, but just in a different shape to solve the same problem. I don't know. It's like rule 11. I can link it. I should link it.
No better work than a network, man.
Yeah. I'll link it in the description. Let's first go through the rest of the article.
For sure. Okay. See if I get another pint. You want to know?
Yeah, give me another pint. Actually, I'll have what was it? Madre. Yeah, get me a pint of Madre.
Matri?
It's the other pint. I don't want a Heineken.
Okay, Matri.
Matri.
Madre. I think
Ma-
mother
Madre.
in Spanish. I think it's mother.
Oh, Madre. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Live on the show, dear listeners. Okay, so
Yes.
then it continues with use cases. So according to Quant Network's website, Quant use cases include digital currencies, payments, supply chains, and trade finance, capital markets, compliance, and insurance. And according to the same Fast Company article, one of their more high-profile projects is LACchain, which seeks to help Latin American businesses with their global banking needs.
Oh,
LACchain was founded in LACchain was founded in 2018. That brought in Quant in 2021, could assist with cross-border payments, domestic payments, and remittance using Overledger operating system. According to a recent Fast Company article, LACchain uses blockchain and integrates it into the core banking infrastructure, enabling users to receive payment in the form of a new digital Latin American dollar straight away and then redeem it as local currency from their bank. This is a pretty good. This is good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment
But
on this.
LACchain is so much fucking more than just banking. And
Yeah,
people just entirely fucking miss that because
Yeah.
crypto is about the money. I've been this around 10,000 times. But LACchain is actually making it possible for everybody to use their fucking smartphone for their identity needs, their medical needs. Everything is going to be fed on LACchain as it will be on Epsi. So the banking bit is, yes, important, but I think it will be fucking a drop in the ocean for transactions. I mean,
Yeah, true.
The skeleton for a dystopian future. Yeah, fantastic.
Oh dear. Are we going this way?
yeah,
It is
hold on,
unclear.
I'm gonna get some tin foil. I'll be right back. What do you want to drink? You want this?
Just give me another one, please.
Okay, yeah.
Please. But yeah, no. So I think that's a very fair take on what LACchain does. I wasn't actually aware that LACchain was dealing with other things other than finance. And yeah, I've always found it quite confusing when I look at LACchain because it's quite abstract. Anything that I've written, anything that I've read about the subject. But yeah, it seems like a fair assessment.
Yeah, I agree with you. The abstractness is indeed something I recognize with people from the community. Actually, last week we talked about this too, because a lot of people confuse LACchain with the Latin American dollar, which are two different projects. Anyway,
because it's so difficult to understand.
Oh dear, there's going to be so
Yeah,
much
we're
shenanigans that people like
we're
Greg
getting there,
Lunt will
yeah.
have a hard time getting all the shenanigans out of this episode. Then it continues. Like, it is unclear how the LACchain success may impact the QNT token's value. However, if LACchain gains adoption and becomes a model for connecting banking systems across the world to various blockchain networks, Quant Network may be in a prime position to benefit from this inevitable trend of cross-border payments and improved global banking. Now, I kind of agree with this point because it's kind of unclear how LACchain ties into Overledger. As in, I do understand.
You want me to break straight away?
I mean, I do understand indeed that they're going to build. I hear Jarno very loud in the background. I don't know what's going on.
I am always loud, my friend.
His payments take ages because he's Dutch. So
Yeah. So in the Netherlands, you could just pay contactless, another 50 euros. So just accept it. But since I'm in the third world now, I need to confirm everything with my fingerprint every time.
when Overledger or even LACchain, when LACchain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what is interesting, what you can see this paragraph, you can actually feel what the author was trying to do. He was trying to present a picture that is quote unquote accurate, but he didn't want it to be too bullish. So he actually presents the information, but it's all clouded in what ifs and maybes, etc.
Yeah.
Because fucking LACchain is live on mainnet, so everything is working. And if you look at like the media and on LinkedIn and stuff, everybody has their eyes on LACchain, and it will be a copy paste all over the world when this takes off, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I get the feeling this is a proof of concept.
Yes.
It's a test. And
Yeah.
they're practicing on the,
A 12
South
country
America.
continent
Yeah.
fucking test.
just practice.
Love
No.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do agree, because I do agree partly. I mean, because it's kind of indeed unclear how LagChain is going to pay for their license. I assume they do, but is it going to be the people that pay LagChain to use the network that are then also indirectly paying for Overledger? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it
Yes,
are going to be like continental networks. So how is that also in the case of EPSI in the European Union? How is that going
Yeah.
to work? That's something I question. I'm not sure how I see that. Or
Yeah. No, definitely I get what you mean there. It's a tough one because we're not seeing under the hood. There's probably going to be a
No.
lot of NDAs.
The bonnet.
Yeah, or under the bonnet. There you go. Yeah. There's a lot of questions there that we're unlikely to get any answers to. That's kind of why Horntail's on-chain analysis is the only way that we're kind of going to get a glimpse of behind the veil.
exactly, I
Sebastian.
agree with you.
That's
Sebastian
came out
too.
from their end. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, those infrastructures, in my opinion, are going to be the main drivers for the utility of the token. There
Yeah.
is, and there's going to be so much going on. I mean, payments are big, but just simply the amount of data that we generate every single day where we interact with the world, and it's only going to get more. Think of my story about Moby. We'll put the cards to Moby somewhere here. It's going to be pretty mind blowing, especially since it's all data driven, and we're going to have the transactions going on. So there will be a continuous stream of communication going on, and
It's interesting that I'm seeing Pay UK there.
Yeah.
Now I handle faster payments as part of my job, and Pay UK
Yeah.
are the governing body, I believe. Fantastic.
and video
Yeah.
as well. So those are cool. It's like an old school one. Yeah, and what is also really interesting, if you start connecting dots and you look at Oracle, and now they're partner with the Formula One shit, what's taking off, and you also got obviously the news with the Microsoft angle with
Yeah.
Azure, and if you look at them, then you got to look at the Meta as well, and then the numbers get even more stupid, because if you got those guys, you can look at the previous episode, how they're actually eating your lunch and thinking about that all the identity will be on those blockchains that we discussed. If you connect all that shit, it's just a fucking spider's web of connections.
One of the ones I really want to see in action is Alliance Block. Now, I've been told that this is some sort of settlement for, stocks and shares, securities.
The
Now-
LBT, you mean, for the stock exchange?
Yeah,
Yeah.
is an Alliance Block.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So I really want to see this. in action.
Shitcoin alert.
Well, the tokenomics are not great, but if this comes
Yeah.
into, it's implemented and Quant has
Mhm.
a handle in this,
Yeah.
that's going to be a really.
Quant has a handle. They have a very interesting graph where Overledger is like integrated into their system,
Okay. Yeah.
created by ALBT.
But as I understand it, it's not, it's not operational yet. Now, I'm going to be keeping an eye on that space for Alliance Block to really ramp up, because the amount of stocks and shares that get traded every day,
Yeah,
just ridiculous amounts of traffic over the network.
yeah,
Good.
for sure.
Yeah. So if we go back to the article, then it just describes the industry ties, their partners. Then it goes into Oracle. Well, I'm not going to tell that story again.
That's Chainlink, isn't it? All the oracles.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the oracles.
Yeah. And it reads a
It's
key
funny,
component.
if you scroll down in the comments on this fucking article, there's this guy, yeah, Quamrade has this blockchain and can blah, blah, blah,
Jarno,
blah,
can
blah.
I kind of
Yeah.
interrupt you and just go through the article for a bit?
Yeah,
have a
of
zip
course.
of your
Let's
points
keep,
then.
let's keep this
Yeah.
more structured.
Yeah, a key component for Quant Network's growth strategy is staying in compliance with global financial regulatory bodies, including the
Yeah.
Financial Action Task Forces, virtual asset service providers. In addition, the U.S. Financial Stability Board publishes a roadmap in 2020 in regards to cross-border payments infrastructure. This is the main focus of Quant as well. Lastly, there is a speculation across the Quant Network community that the US government is working with Quant representatives to find a favorable approach to blockchain and digital asset regulation. Actually, this last point, that's not, yeah, it is kind of speculation, but that is where he kind of points at the MIT partnerships. And well, the part where Jarno comes in, Thomas Jarno, and they are actually working together, right? It's not a secret that Gilbert has been to Boston, to the Federal Reserve, to talk about not only regulation but also the establishment of the digital dollar. So I mean, he is right here, and I agree. I cannot really point any criticism at this point.
Yes, so on Gilbert's CV, it does say that he's on committees in the US. Now, I don't know how he manages it. His time must be an extreme premium because he's part of all these committees. But yeah, the Federal Reserve, he is a committee member of. You can see that definitely.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that the point where it really gets down to the point where we can start criticizing this article is about the tokenomics. And well, this part is where it gets kind of interesting if you ask me. Because then in the first part it reads, well, the main source of the noise cancelling is terrible at the moment, though. Like you can really literally hear you're in a pub. It's like
It is what it is now.
Yeah, the main source of revenue for the company is selling annual licenses. Or some people talking right next to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, now it's gone. So the main source of revenue for the company is selling annual licenses to access Overledger, as well as transaction-based fees, both of which are paid in QNT. So for the annual licensing fees, the Quant Network Treasury locks up the QNT for 12 months or until the license expires, at which point the QNT is converted into dollars. This artificially limits QNT in circulation, and in theory, the more demand they have for licenses, the more the circulating supply should decrease, increasing the price of QNT. Fair. I think this is a fair assessment of what's going on, but it gets kind of interesting down in the part below. It reads an operation.
There's a little bit of a nuance because the circulating supply will always be the same for the coin market caps and shit.
Yeah.
Because there's just 14.6 million tokens, and that will remain. But obviously, due to the tokenomics, a lot of things will actually get quote unquote locked. So they will not technically be circulating because they won't be for sale. But there's still a circulation.
Yeah, there needs to be two metrics there. There needs to be a liquid market cap and an overall market cap. It needs to be split.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, you guys still there?
Yeah. I'm just muting the mic regularly now.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
That's a bit better, actually.
I'll mute the mic in between where we're not talking.
Oh, sure. That's lovely, actually. Yeah, we should have done that earlier. But then it gets interesting because it reads, well, an operational risk of this strategy is the price fluctuation of QNT during the lockup period, and the difficulty that presents is forecasting or budgeting for the Quant team. This makes it difficult to determine a valuation for QNT token and Quant organization as a whole. Okay, so I'm reading this and I'm not sure what he says here. Can you guys make something of this?
Yeah, so it reads an operational risk or strategy is the price fluctuation of Quant during the lockup periods and the difficulty that presents in forecasting or budgeting for the Quant team. This makes it difficult to determine the valuation of the Quant token and Quant organization as a whole. So I think this begins and ends with the fact that he doesn't really comprehend the fact that enterprise and everything will always pay fiat.
Yes.
So all the costs are always fiat denominated. So the
Yeah.
price fluctuations and the volatility, which is obviously not ideal for companies, will not affect them at all. And I wrote a comment below this article. It will be linked in the description of the article. You can find my comments below there. They will, the volatility can go rampant as high as it wants. It doesn't really matter because the oracles of this world will always pay the same amount of fiat for a transaction or for whatever. And the Quant Treasury actually does the conversion into the QNT in the background. And what you get from that is, and in that case, he might be correct. You're going to be getting that the team gets a box of tokens and they have a value right now, but they just market buy. So if I give them 100 fiat, they just buy for 100 fiat and QNT. QNT can be $1, it can be $1 million. Doesn't really fucking matter because it is quote unquote not Quant's money, and those tokens will be locked. And what happened over the year, assuming that business will go on as expected, the price of the QNT token, quote unquote, must go up because of the scarcity, because of the utility, etc. So it is a pretty safe bet if everything is up and running for the Quant team. They just won't get paid in the first year for their services because you pay your license paid. And when the license is paid, they don't have money quite yet because it is all locked up in QNT, probably on Coinbase, custody, whatever. And the next year, this gets freed up. And then they can choose if they want to use this for the renewal again. If the price is lower next year, they need to buy more. And if the price is higher, they have QNT to sell if they want, or they can simply use it for other clients. And what you then get is that the client still needs to pay, let's say, the $100. But if you have a surplus from another client that got freed up, you can use that QNT, and then you earn the $100 straight up. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if you add to that the fact that we also provide consulting services and a bunch of other things, I'd say the fucking revenue streams of Quant are just pristine. But it's all layered. It's really nuanced.
I think well, chances are token price is going to appreciate over that year. At the end of the lockup, they're going to be sitting on more money than
It didn't happen this year.
No, of course not.
So there's always a possibility the market conditions.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we know that at some point there's going to be a breakaway where Quant decouples from Bitcoin. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well,
for sure.
So
so
where are we here?
we are
You want me to-
here. So we're at this part. Oh.
Yeah. So the tokenomics for Quant Network are somewhat concerning as well. They held an initial ICO in 2018, was not met with much fanfare. As a result, they announced they would be burning approximately 14.6 million tokens, only to then burn 9.5 million tokens with an explanation. You can see here the largest token quote unquote holder on Etherscan, the wallet containing the bird tokens. While this is not overly concerning, tokenomics are a key focal point here at the point Agora. So what he is talking about is the 9 million tokens that are in the quote unquote first wallet on Etherscan. And that's a smart contract. So that is not a wallet address, it's a smart contract. And that contract is inaccessible. Yeah, the FINMA and God knows what KPMG dudes, they have all signed off on this. So these tokens can never be accessed ever. And people are still sending money to it, which is really interesting.
Yes, that is a strange one, isn't it?
People are idiots. But yeah, there's no one that can ever retrieve that. So whatever goes in there is burned for life. And the Quant team actually did that to bring more balance because initially the ICO didn't sell out. The intention was to create 45 million tokens. ICO didn't sell out, and only a bunch were minted. And there were like 23 point somewhat million. But after that, because the team had such a high disproportion of tokens, they decided to burn 9 million of their own tokens. So that's the story behind that. And
So wait, just to get back to the
Holy
article,
shit. Look at this. Someone put in 700, 800 quants after the burn. They are burned for
Altruism, my man.
some people just
Altruism.
yeah, well, they're doing their fair share.
How is the founders wallet doing? Shall we have a little look at the founders wallet? What's
course.
the latest transaction on there? If you go to the founders wallet, yeah, that's
This is
the
the
one for the founders. Yeah, go down and go to the info. Let's see. Move up a bit. Yeah, click on info.
And this is info.
Yeah, no, not there, not there.
Isn't this the founder's wallet?
Yeah, go to contract. I'm sorry, I forgot. No, I'm a retard. There should be something with QRC, ERC 20 token transfers.
Yeah, but I can't find anything.
Okay, never mind. Let's
Could
just
be one
move
of the other wallets.
So in the article, they're talking about.
Yeah, let's go
more
back to
than-
the article. Oh,
In the
Sorry,
article, they're talking about a 9 million burn.
Yeah.
And what was it? They burnt less than that. Is that what the article is posing? No,
No, the guy's just saying.
but you can
He
see.
said 4.6 would be burned, that they didn't, or something like that.
But they announced they would be burning 14.6 million, and then actually did 9.5. So where is he getting the 14.6 from?
I have no clue.
Yeah, it's just
Promise ours, mate.
put that number out the ether. Fair enough. Yeah, that's an odd one.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll continue on.
yeah, okay. So here they kind of give a summary. And okay, so they basically ask the question whether Quant Network deserves to have. Can you mute your mic for a bit? Would be a
sure,
bit
man.
easier. No, thanks. So they kind of ask the question here whether Quant should have like a 10% allocation in their total portfolio. And well, in general, they say, well, it's a hold. So that's positive. Because they say on the positive side, they have a real world adoption with, for example, LangChain in South America, and they're plugged into Oracle. However, on the negative side, well, here it gets funny. Since they're not technically a blockchain themselves, the visibility into their organization is opaque at best. It is nearly impossible to determine if their 1.5 billion market cap is overvalued or undervalued, since revenue and adoption metrics are not available. And this is pretty interesting. Niels pointed out here that it kind of implies that once you are a blockchain or a DLT, you are transparent. That's kind of I say that what's the word? Like the guys help me out. What's the word? Like the assumption that, yeah, no, but the assumption is made that once you are a blockchain, you assume you must be transparent. But that's not the case, right?
No,
Yeah.
kind of depends on what your model is. I mean, if you look at LangChain will be public permission. So,
Sure, but can we look into their business model?
no, that's what I'm trying to say. Well, it's in their business model maybe, but Quant's a private company, so they're
Oh.
not obligated to share anything at all.
We also know
Oh.
that the sort of structure of CBDCs, we're not expecting that to be public either. We're
Oh.
expecting private chains to be an operation for CBDC. So yeah. My 2 cents.
Yeah.
So I found that odd. And then in addition, the announced burn token amount versus the actual burn token amount mentioned earlier is a concern. We just addressed that. And finally, well, it's about Gilbert's CV and him being, well, very shortly at different positions. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gilbert's just a cunt, man. Fucking Armenia rag bull bastard. He's just trying to steal all our money. He's actually
Token not needed, bro.
Token-
took not needed. It's scam.
yeah. So it concludes, well, Quant Network is an exciting project, particularly if it continues to gain traction in the cross-border banking and payments ecosystem. The continued success of LangChain will be crucial, and if they announce additional sovereign partnerships, that will be a bull catalyst for the QNT token. As new information becomes available and some of the red flags are put to rest, QNT USD may earn a spot in our model portfolio. For now, we
Yeah.
wait and see.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's really interesting because everybody's always also been calling for like, oh yeah, Quant just need a household name. So then the price will go up. And we got fucking Oracle, the second biggest fucking software company in the world. It's on Formula One cars, Red Bull and shit. And people are still not waking up. Will it
Yeah.
ever happen? I'm curious. But if it's not, man, it's also fine.
I know within the bank that I work for, blockchain still has quite a bad name, or like maybe it's seen as almost the dirty side of finance. You know, one of my
Yeah.
colleagues described Bitcoin and blockchain as a Japanese knotweed of the finance industry, and which I thought was brilliant. But Japanese knotweed you can't eradicate. You know, it's a weed that just you cannot get rid of. And
No.
so he described blockchain in those terms. And it gives you an idea of how they're approaching it. And like there's still a very backwards kind of mentality towards this new tech in traditional finance and traditional banks. They're not seeing the benefits of it yet.
No, yeah, I mean, but it's kind of inevitable at this point, I think. It is, yeah. Whatever you think of it.
Inevitability is a bitch, dude.
Yeah. So kind of that so much for the article. I think it's not bad. There are just some things that could be better. And as you pointed out, it's good to get some traction and get people actually studying the token.
Yeah.
Then what else did I talked with Niels about, we discussed the inflation bill in the US. But I think that's something that already passed. I'm not sure if it's very relevant for us.
Maybe let's move on to Bavid's bill.
Sure. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Do you want to take a short break in between, or like let's go move on?
I could use a little break actually.
Okay, let's take a break in 3, 2,
1. Yeah, here we are.
Yeah,
Hang on.
I'm recording here as well. So
Great.
that was with the shit. So we had a little piss and a little WeChat in the meantime. Tim has apparently lined up the masterpiece, Le Piece de Résistance,
Yeah.
pour l'épisode of Monsieur is throwing his phone on the ground.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do this in his local Scottish accent. He's not going to tone it down. I'm joking.
Okay, yeah. So
Bring up whatever you want to bring up, Tim.
Yeah.
And-
So I have it here. Let me
Yeah.
get
So-
it.
some of these slides will be irrelevant, but there are some graphics here that will help kind of explain the payment process of the journey that happens with a card payment, with the MasterCard payment system. So let's go through these. These are actually training documents to train people up. So we're not trying to train you here, but if keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. So stuck on this. So not many people are aware of this, but say when you use your card in a shop, you tap your card and you see the money be deducted from your account, right? So this is actually something called an authorization. We check if you've got enough money in the bank in order to actually take that money, but
Yeah.
it's ring fenced. So this says, you know, the first stage of a payment, the money is held by the bank. It's almost put into a holding area, like it's not actually sent off yet. Then at a later date, a presentment happens. Now that's the actual point where the payment is sent to the merchant. Very few people are aware of this two-part distinction, and you know it can often take 7 to 30 days between authorization and presentment to actually come about. So we're going to go through the steps of authorization to presentment with these next slides.
Okay, and why is that interesting for Quant?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm trying to paint a picture of where we are at TradFi,
Yeah.
where traditional finance is,
Yeah.
and just why it's such a bad model.
Yeah.
And of course, Quant is a solution to that.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing with this here is trying to give you an idea of what we're fixing.
Yeah.
What Quant is fixing.
Good.
Yeah. So we'll continue.
Yep. Sure.
So yeah, as I say, yeah, don't need that. Keep going. Well, unless we would, yeah, this is for idiots basically, you know. But yeah, Devin wants to use his pin. Basically you use your pin in a card, or you use your card in a shop, and it's going through the different steps of what happens to the money or that information, right? So the authorization stage here, essentially, we don't need to go into the ins and outs of it, but it checks whether you've got enough money in the bank to do it, and it's a yes or a no. You know, we'll continue through these. Keep going, keep going. This is actually for training people up to be payments experts. So a lot of this is a little bit more in the weeds than we need to get. But yeah, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Okay, so we can skip the.
Yeah, basically this is just describing the authorization stage where sometimes you might have seen it with your own bank. A payment will be stuck in pending. Have you seen that? Like pending payments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is when you've got an authorization that's not been presented yet. So here we go. This is only half the story. Now we'll be looking at presentment stage. So if we move further down, there's a particular graphic I'd like to show you. Here we go. So MasterCard network, once you've got all the authorizations, let's say, so say you're a bank and you've got a lot of these authorizations for various different merchants, you would put it all into one big file and you pass it on to MasterCard, right? Now MasterCard will then collect all of them up as well, and it will come back to us for all the presentments. Well, there's different merchant banks in between. There's a graphic down here. Keep skipping through this slide. Yeah. Essentially, the presentment stage is where the money actually leaves your bank account. Let's keep going through these. Yeah, so the card network, MasterCard in this case, receives the bulk payment for all of these different payments that have been authorized, and then they send it. Next slide.
Yep.
They send it to an acquirer. Now, an acquirer is a special type of bank that normally services merchants. They'll get this big file of what's due, what sort of money they need to have. They then split it up even further and send it to the correct merchants. So their job is to make sure all the merchants get what they're due. Yeah, and the presentment stage down. Yeah, there you go. Happy merchant, because they've received the money that they should be due. Now, what isn't mentioned in these slides is the time between authorization and presentment is sometimes ludicrous. Now, sometimes it can take up to 7 days for it to fully present. So authorization and presentment for 7 days, it doesn't make any sense in this modern world of digital payments, does it? You know, when you're using XRP to settle a transaction completely in what, 20 seconds or a couple of minutes, you know,
XRP is like 5 seconds.
well, that's it. You know, like us in the blockchain world and that sort of scene, we're very aware of just how easy it is to both send and settle, you know, instantly almost. So this presentment and authorization stage, that can take up to 30 days actually. With hotels, it's often 30 days. And this causes a huge amount of issues for the banks, because if something happens with that payment process, yeah, we could go to the next one. This is just a summary of both paths of the authorization and the presentment process. Now, if any part of this process has any issues, then this is just a headache for the bank involved. And you've got huge amounts of employees dedicated to each stage of where this breaks down. So you can appreciate that streamlining this and where Quant is going, you know, with Gil's experience, he'll be very aware of this system in its current form and where it can be fixed. So he'll have seen this model and he'll be very aware that it needs to be updated. Probably one of the reasons that he's gone about what he's doing the way he is. Yeah, so that gives you an idea of how a card payment actually starts and ends. I don't think a lot of people have any sort of conception of that. They just tap the card and they believe that's the money gone, you know? There's actually a long process in between, which seems very convoluted for people that are in blockchain technology.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be that way. Even Bitcoin was a revolution. That's why financial institutions are really seriously looking
Two
at
block
blockchain.
confirmations, 10 minutes.
That's it. We can see the practical value of blockchain technologies immediately within the context of card payments. Now, another thing that I wanted to discuss was how retail banks fit into this new world of blockchain technology. So some people have said with the introduction of DLT and blockchain finance, we will no longer need banks, or we no longer need kind of financial institutions as they stand.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I think retail banks have their purpose. Now, I was going to bring up some examples of where a retail bank has to exist. So let's say you buy an order off of Amazon. Oh, yeah, quick, cheers. Now, let's say you buy something off of Amazon, right? And it comes back broken or it just doesn't arrive, okay? And you have a dispute with the guy who sent it, but they're just refusing to help out.
Yeah.
You have an arbitration process with the bank in that instance. You would go to your bank and say, look, I've made this purchase. Here's the transaction. I would like to dispute the transaction. They call it the MasterCard chargeback process. It's a well-established complaints, disputes kind of thing between merchants and customers. Now, that's a huge part of the retail banking that will have to still exist, even with blockchain technologies. A large part of what a retail bank does is actually dispute resolution. You know, it's fixing customers, you know, when a customer's made a mistake or when a merchant has made a mistake, they're the go-between. They're able to arbitrate and fix the issues there. So kind of applying that to blockchain. It was just a loose discussion I wanted to have with you around that, but applying that to blockchain, you know, it wouldn't make very much sense. Okay, I'll give you an example as well. Another part of my job is I fix payments that have gone to the wrong bank account. So let's say somebody's written the wrong number and they've sent a payment to the wrong bank account. Now, there is actually ways to redress that. Okay?
Example, Quant Network just changed their SEPA bank account number. If you are now sending, and this happened to me, money to Quant Network, and you have like bookmarked their IBAN, and you send now your fiat to that old IBAN, you're technically throwing it against the wall. And I had that actually with a significant amount of money. And then that money just is in limbo. With the current financial system, you can actually revert that, get your money back. It takes about 4 to 7 business days. It's fucking annoying, but you can actually do that because people are actually able to do this.
That's it. And so, yeah, perfectly leads me to my point here. What I was talking about blockchain, let's say XRP, you name it. A transaction on the blockchain isn't something you can dispute. Let's say accidentally you sent it to the wrong address. With blockchain, there is no institution, there's no infrastructure there to dispute that. You know, it's lost, it's gone. One of the functions of a retail bank is to arbitrate around things like that as well. So that we, you know, part of my job is to contact the other bank, say, look, this payment wasn't meant for this account. Can you help us out here and retrieve that money?
If I may add a little bit, because this feature is one of the main reasons why Quant Network will be successful with Overledger. Because the people that are opposed to centralization are missing a very important point, and that is that TradFi and governments, they need somebody to shoot if something goes wrong. And if you have a problem with 100% decentralized blockchain, let's say Bitcoin, for lack of a better example, who you're calling if you make a mistake? How are you going to revert your problem? How are you going to address that? what do you do if you have questions? You gotta call Satoshi, or you gotta go on fucking Reddit or 4chan to lay out your case and see if some fucking anon will help you out on the internet.
Yeah.
Not gonna freaking happen. So that's what Quant Network has with their wee bit of centralization, so they can actually monitor, provide customer service, and they are accountable. They are accountable, and they have the option and possibility to address problems, compensate if necessary, and it's just, like I said before, the white glove approach, man.
Yeah, it's a buffer. It's a buffer.
It's a buffer, yeah, for sure.
Now, this interests me. So when I apply these concepts to Quant and the Quant business model, it's unlikely that Quant will handle disputes themselves. Now, of course, Quant, of course, is giving us the infrastructure, it's giving us the financial infrastructure to implement these things. But you know, some people say that retail banks will no longer be needed. I do think that there will be a need for them for the reasons I've outlined just there. You know, mostly dispute resolution, mostly when it comes to merchants.
So CBDCs.
Yes, and the introduction of CBDCs.
It's a mosquito, and it's a big one. Fucking eating you through your
You're
shirt,
still,
man.
you're in Dundee,
they're
and you're
chasing
still
me, man.
hunting mosquitoes. Yeah, they're
Well, it's
going
ridiculous
everywhere.
because things here, we sleep with the windows open, no fucking mosquitoes ever.
We don't have mosquitoes in Scotland, so
No,
I
man,
don't
but
know
this thing
what
was
that
fucking
was.
sucking you dry.
I don't think that was a mosquito.
I think
Oh,
I think
okay, well.
Jarno is seeing stuff that's not there. That's it. He is. Yeah.
Maybe I took the wrong bag.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't prepare anything formally. I didn't make like a kind of a formally structured discussion topic around
No,
this. It was to
It's a
kind of,
mess, dude.
it was
You
to
fucked
kind of
up.
explore these ideas with you guys as well. Like,
no.
very,
Let me step in here because I agree with you. I mean, I remember, was it Fronsky saying on
Yeah.
Telegram, hello, I would imagine people just starting to use like crypto, and then like boomers like picking up the telephone. Hello, I'd like to phone Ethereum.
Yeah.
yeah,
How's that gonna work? Because you can't refer what you've done.
Transaction is still pending.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is the most legit case for TradFi to still be in existence, because people will screw up. That's a point we've made multiple times here on the Quamfy show, but also in the Dutch, well, in our Dutch chat group on Telegram, where every time someone steps in, we tell the same story. Hey, you could use a ledger, but be aware that when you take everything into your own hands, that one fat finger might lose you your complete net worth. So please be careful when you go fully decentralized. When you stay centralized for a bit, you at least have a company that's responsible for your fuck ups.
yeah, certainly. So
It's like Super Mario, man. There's lava everywhere, and if you jump against the wall instead of over it, you're going straight to the lava. Yeah, and everything is gone.
now, this kind of leads us nicely onto a discussion about which banks are on the front end of this. Now, I'm seeing things from Revolut. I don't know if you guys have heard of that bank. Is it?
Yeah, of course.
Heard of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like these guys are taking a very pro crypto approach, which I think is very smart, getting ahead of the game. And
Absolutely.
yeah, as I understand it, it's limited to a few different products as well. But yeah,
Quant
I
is
think-
on Revolut, by the way.
No way. Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't
it
know
is.
that.
It is. You can buy a Quant on Revolut. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! Good.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it might be limited to certain countries, but I do remember that Revolut entered somewhere October 2021, I think. So you could buy.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, when we're looking to the future of banks and the financial superstructure, retail banks are always going to have a place because of this dispute resolution. They just have to. You know, yeah, that abstracted layer of customer service needs to be there.
Such an important point. Who are you going to call, man?
Yeah.
And it's the same. And yeah, no, but we said it the same a couple episodes back. People are not going to use ledgers, even if crypto is going to become mainstream or stable coins or whatever. They're not going to use a ledger. They're just going to use a bank account. People don't care. Not your keys, not your coins, man. That's like the extreme super minority of where we are in right now. And
Yeah.
why would you use a ledger with a fucking passcode? And if you die, nobody knows where to find it, and words and write it down and then online, and it's too complicated.
Well, I can't say much about it because obviously they're interbank communications, but we are looking at CBDCs, and the Bank of England has been releasing documents to these banks, kind of getting them primed for it. And I think 2025 is when I've seen Christine Lagarde said that 2025 is when she wants to see a digital euro.
Yeah. Person in front of yours, isn't she?
Yes, we hang out all the time in the pub. But yeah, no, I think 2025 is a reasonable goal. I think 2023, we're going to start to see it really pushed into the mainstream. You know, the normies need to wake up. We need to give them some time to catch up.
Yeah, for the CBDC thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, man. The crypto as it is right now, man, the landscape's going to change. There's a lot of shit that's going to die, and the custody solutions, I think, are going to be much more prevalent, and that's why I also think that the whole how many coins are on exchanges is not relevant anymore. And the traditional banks like the INGs, ABN, or Monzo, or whatever bank you're calling, they are going to provide the service for you to have your crypto there, and it could be technically yours, like it is with Coinbase custody, and that will make things a lot easier. And you will also have the option, like they're creating a lag chain right now, that you can do everything by phone, and Overledger will be indispensable for all these things, because as you know, all the banks want their own security. They want it all to be closed source, and they want everything custom fitted for them, and they do not think about the future. And they do not think about the interoperability with other banks, because they're competition, and that climate will change. And
Yeah, we're super early. We are very early.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't know. I look at some of the quant OGs and I think, oh, I was too late. No,
Yeah.
not at all.
what do you think, by the way?
When I started in January 2021, and I didn't have much conviction. I kind of threw what I could at the time.
Yeah.
And then just as I did more research on quant, it just became completely apparently clear that nothing else was worth my time. So yeah.
Except Gucci.
Well, Kuji was a later.
Kuji.
But, yeah, no, all in quant is not a meme.
No, I mean this is getting pretty interesting. How did you enter Quant?
Me? Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
my friend Sam, he had said to me, like, get into crypto. And I was one of these guys that's super skeptical. I thought, like, this is a flash in the pan, whatever. No, it's not going to happen.
Flash
But
in the
then-
pan.
A flash in the pan, you know, something that is going to last a short period of time and not
Yeah.
last.
Or burn the fucking house down. And that's what's happening, isn't it?
Well, in any case, so he was like, dude, like, get into this. You're in the banking industry. You need to see this. And it was actually, he sent me Gil's CV, and that's when I perked up. I was like, okay, this is not just moon boy kind of rhetoric. We're dealing with a serious financial player here. And yeah, that's what he actually got me into quant. And then after having got me in, I deep dived much deeper than him. So I am now in a position where he asks me about having been like, he bought into quant earlier than me, but he now asks me about, you know, updates and some of the more particular parts of it. Yeah. Yeah. And
It's pretty
it's
cool.
interesting. It's like some of my pals, they got into quant through gaming. So like one of them was, do you know Elder Scrolls Online?
Yeah, man.
You
Yeah.
know, some of the gaming communities in the early days, I'm talking 2018, 2019.
Early days.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, the gaming communities were really picking up on quant, and yeah, I know a couple of people that picked it up early because of that.
Price predictions, 2025.
Well, see, I don't know. I think reasonably, I'm looking at 10K, well, 2025, I think 10K 2026, maybe to 8. Now, I know Jarno,
2030?
Jarno is,
2030?
well, 2030, maybe 30K. I don't know. I want to be a realist here, you know, and I also don't want to be greedy, because if I'm sitting with that amount of money and, you know,
That's the strange thing. We talked about when we were on a hike 2 days ago.
yeah.
We want to be a realist, because if Quant goes to 1K. That's just crazy, but it's not. It's only fucking 14 billion market cap. What are we talking about? But because it's our potential money, it can never go that high. So
No,
we're just being
but-
conservative.
Yeah, but that's how everyone feels, right?
No, that's not how I fucking feel.
It's risk management. Like obviously, you'd be silly and greedy to
Everything overall with Quant is great, man.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely got a lot more to go in it. So I was looking at coin market cap, and I was looking at the market cap of the projects above us, and they just don't hold a candle to Quant. They just
It doesn't.
None of
Yeah,
none of the
it's insane.
projects. Yeah, none of the projects have even half the substance that we do. So I reckon we've definitely got another 100x in us. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. We just had this brief chat in between while the recording was on pause. You didn't notice that as a listener. And we were talking about the generation that David and I are from, because we entered Quant late 2020, early 2021. And that generation, we kind of grew up with, we
You were
saw Quant
21,
from the
baby.
beginning. Yeah. We saw Quant going from like $10 all the way to 40. Like it was pretty optimistic. It was like, oh yeah, we're going for it. And then we got stuck in the $40 stablecoin meme. But that actually was in a market where Quant was being overtaken by all kinds of stuff. I remember like pancake swap, bakery swap, sushi swap, the Doge Elon coin, Cum Rocket.
Come rocket, baby.
Yeah, I mean, the good old days where commies went for $27 cents. That was pretty amazing. I mean, and in the meantime, we were just getting all this FA being spoon-fed to us by the community that we were getting all involved in. Now, those were insane days. And I think that's kind of the point you just made also about where we are at positioned. Like we are not the very early OGs. We sadly weren't there in 2018, 2019. But we did see the company grow significantly, and we witnessed a very essential element of the company and the project where it got like we couldn't ask Gilbert about his dog on Telegram. We saw it becoming like we saw it mature. Yeah, you could, but Dave and I couldn't.
Yeah,
I asked him actually about a dog.
And that's all those generations. And we've also had this discussion with Greg Lund. And you just see this pattern in the community. But I think in the grand scheme of things, we are third, second wave. It's not bad in this project. We still have 10 years ahead of us of where we will be going. And although my price predictions are a bit more conservative, I think we are doing pretty well. Hey, I do have Instagram questions left, and if your laptop is 25%, let's get there and then round it up so you guys can continue your pub crawl in Dundee. Okay, Instagram is actually ready for us, so let's.
That thing fucking ate through energy, man. I charged it fully.
Yeah. Well,
Instagram questions. This is always fabulous.
What happened?
This is-
I've not seen this.
Instagram questions.
Okay.
We also have Quant updates. And Quant updates on Instagram, then ask questions for the episode.
Okay. Sweet.
And usually the level of questioning is pretty interesting.
yeah,
Nice.
it's good. It's good. I've seen some of them. It's gonna be interesting again. Okay. There we go. Question 1. Okay. Jeffrey is asking us, how bright is the future of Quant in your opinion? 2, 5, and 10 years from now? I think we just covered this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think the next 2 years are going to be tough anyway, because the macro is in a super downturn. Like the macro
Global domination.
Like the global outlook is looking pretty grim. So I think if Quant treads water, I'm not going to be too annoyed. As long if it goes side.
Do you think that the utility will give a shit?
Well, of course, you've got utility as well.
Because that's all in fiat, right? The companies don't even know that there's a Quant token behind the scenes.
What I'm saying is, with the macro, if it did go sideways, I'm expecting it to go up, but if it did go sideways, I wouldn't be completely raging,
We'll get
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Then someone is asking us, is there a roadmap ahead. But I think we already have a roadmap, right? Or
Yeah. Gateways,
I think-
gateways are the most prominent thing, and we are expecting pretty much a big bang, a lot of us.
I think the roadmap that we had last year was sidetracked by the onboarding of Oracle clients. Do you remember that? I remember there was a discussion in Lounge about this, where they had a roadmap kind of set up. I don't think they were anticipating the number of clients that they were getting in.
no, true.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, I think any roadmap that was in place has had to be kind of pushed back because of that,
Yeah.
huge numbers of clients coming in.
Exactly, and that wasn't being explained explicitly, but if you line up the messages from Gilbert and the actual events from 2021, you could see that. I think their mid-year technology updates, what I discussed earlier this episode and many times before, they lined up this roadmap of what they were going to do in the upcoming releases of Overledger. If we continued that logic, it would mean that somewhere at the end of September, beginning of October, it would mean gateways, and from there on, just one big bang. What happens instead is that they got overwhelmed by COVID, by Brexit, Oracle joining. Lots of companies from Oracle, indeed, as you say, needing so much capacity from the team that they couldn't focus on it. It just got overtaken by other stuff. But I think that in general, they're just focusing on improving Overledger. They also released the QRC20, tokenize, as we now know it.
Oh, yes.
That is something we didn't know. Yeah, exactly. That's something we didn't know during a mid-year technology review. Although we did know in the community that they were probably going to develop a multi-ledger token. That was something that we already were speculating on, but they made it a reality end of 2021. And at least that's when they announced it. And now it's going live. So yeah, the roadmap just got a bit changed, and that's just with companies, stuff changes.
And their internal roadmap will be a lot more fucking detailed and adequate. But yeah, man, just have to wait and see. We're waiting for 2.3 or
Yeah.
3.0, man, hoping
And
that's going to bring the gateways and the decentralization of the public OVM.
yeah,
We'll see.
and to be fair, like if you look at roadmaps in other cryptos, it's always like something like we're going on all exchanges. That's something that was on the roadmap of Quant 2, and they delivered. They're now literally on every exchange. In fact, Coinbase is one of their main partners now, and Coinbase Custody handles their treasury. So they did a pretty good job there. Okay, the next question: do you think Q&T need to improve their marketing? Do we need to step up our marketing game? No, right? No.
Yeah.
Me neither. No.
Let the big part announce.
Yeah, I think we're all very aware that the target audience isn't retail. Once you get over that,
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Oh, and apparently some page on Instagram, that's the last thing, has changed their opinion on Q&T. I remember them being bearish on us, and now suddenly they've turned bullish, which is quite interesting. Okay, that's about it. When it comes to Instagram, amazing questions again, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, or otherwise I'm gonna round it up?
Yeah, man. No, let's wrap it up. Do you have any afterburners? Any afterburners things you want to add?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, exciting times as always. It's just a waiting game, isn't it? Patience.
It's the waiting game.
Yeah, patience is a virtue. Yeah.
Or a waste of fucking time.
Well, not in this case. Yeah.
No, it really is. And
That was a spider. Come on.
okay, guys,
Yeah,
thank
man.
you so much.
Yeah, man. I really like this. I hope everybody liked this setting as well. Sorry for the background. Yeah, is what is. If you're ever at the Kilted Kangaroo in Dundee, think of us. Give them a shout out, maybe wherever you are. Let us know in the comments what you thought. Leave us a thumbs up.
Actually, that might be a good way to shill the token, is if we get them in the hashtags on Twitter. Yeah, might spread the word.
I've been tagging them a lot, man.
Yeah, let's shill the token, shall we?
Fucking savage. No, man, I have nothing to add. Thanks so much. And yeah, like I said, follow us everywhere. And let us know what you think.
Yeah, like,
definitely.
comment, subscribe, follow,
Yeah.
push the notification bell, and thank
So
you
we'll
so
see you-
much. And we will be seeing you next week, or
Take one thing.
not. Stay comfy.
Yes.